Greetings, members, one and all of the Salivation Nation. Most of you are familiar with the older school Libertads. That's right, from 1982 to about 1995, they were this smaller diameter, about 36 millimeters, with a 6 millimeter thickness, and it had edge lettering on it until the mid-90s. But it's been very difficult to find a way to store these. Typically, they had to be put in Morgan dollar holders here, and it's very difficult to find capsules as well for these coins because of their diameter and thickness. And so how were these things stored other than just kind of improvising? Well, that's how I got these. I put them in these little old school capsules here. And that's basically the way you did it. And of course, when you put them in there, they're kind of loose. And you really just fill them up until you get them as full as you can. And so what did the Mexican Mint do? Well, they changed their diameter. And they are now the same diameter and thickness as the American Silver Eagle. And they even changed the design a bit. Now that has a reeded edge. And so now they have changed, and they're more in line with other bullion coins that are out there in the marketplace. But many of us have an affinity for the old school Libertads. They're very beautiful and very nicely put together. And they have that classic look to them indeed. And so that is one of the reasons why many people like to collect these. They are just beautiful. And but the problem is storing them. And finding them in the original packaging is even more difficult, at least from what I've been able to find. But many years ago, I was able to find a pretty good deal on an original tube of Mexican Libertads directly from the Banco De Mexico. That's right. And that's what this is. There you go. The old school Libertads in their original packaging. And I don't know if you would call this a tube or not. It just looks more like cardboard kind of wrapped around it. But there they are. Original mint wrapped and original toning here on this particular piece here. But this, who knows what gems may lie inside of here. I'm not going to open it to find out. But I was able to procure this a number of years ago. At a fairly decent price above spot, from what I recollect. But yeah, to be able to find an original bank wrapped roll of Libertads is it's not something you see every day. I don't know that this necessarily increases the premium on these, or if I was to sell this roll, if it would garner any more attention than anything else. But apparently they did this for a number of years. And was only until in recent years they decided to move it into regular plastic tubes, kind of like what you would see for the American Silver Eagle. But to be able to have an original bankroll of these Libertads is, I think, quite a gem, and I'm going to keep it in this bankroll, even though I really don't know if it adds any value having it in it or not. I just think it's kind of cool to get something that is brand new from the Mexican Mint, or as it was left the mint. Now there's a little bit of wear on this from being packaged and sent around and distributed to wherever it was distributed. But to be able to have it in the bank roll, I think is pretty cool. And I'll just ask my viewers: have any of you ever seen an original bankroll of old school Libertads? I'd be very curious to hear your stories about this, and if you've ever seen anything like this out there. And what are your thoughts going forward about, or thinking if it has any value, numismatic value to having this? To me, that's not really the reason why I got it, but thought it was cool looking. And since it was cool looking, I decided, well, you know what? I'm going to go ahead and grab one. And just to have it just as a memento of sorts. But I do like these old school Libertads with that edge lettering on them. I think they're just really cool looking and unique. But sadly, packaging them is a bit of a challenge. And so that was one reason why I think the Mexican Mint decided to standardize their bullion. But I do like these smaller, thicker pieces. In my view, I think these smaller, thicker pieces should be the standard and the norm. But they are not. But one thing is for sure, they are very, very cool looking. And to have it in an original package from 1985, this is a 1985 roll here, is pretty cool. As you know, 1985 was a very, very popular year for the Libertads. It's quite commonplace to find those. In fact, you can get the 1985s for not a whole lot above spot price these days, but very, very common. But there are other years that are common. The 82s are also very, very common, as it was the first year of issue there. But an original bankroll there for the Banco De Mexico. Indeed. All right. Gotta love it. Gotta love it. So a little show and tell, something a little bit different on the channel than you normally see. Most of you know I talk about various different topics with relation to precious metals, but I don't show a whole lot. And so I thought I'd take the time just to kind of pull out some unique pieces from the collection. And though these particular pieces are not unique, the packaging is in this particular case. This is an original unwrapped roll from the Banco De Mexico. But I don't necessarily go out searching and finding, to whether or not some of these things are, quote, valuable or not. I just kind of got it because it was cool. And I've always kind of, as you can see, I kind of love the Mexican Libertad and these old school pieces, and kind of have just developed a collection of them to the point where, well, it's basically a stack. And so I'm stacking them up, and as I see them for a relatively decent deal, I'll continue to press on, and maybe I'll buy a few more. But finding tubes to fill them up is a little bit difficult for these early years, because they came in these cardboard tubes here. And these cardboard tubes, as you can see, really by the looks of them, they can degrade over a period of time. And I think that's another reason why they had to kind of retrofit these to the Mexican Libertads, and I think that's another reason why they decided to move forward with the standardization with the sizes to the 40 millimeter level. And that's exactly what they did, and did a good job. All right, very good. I still like the Libertads, the larger ones, but these old school ones, they're special in my view. So post your thoughts below about the Mexican Libertad, and about if any of you ever seen one of these original rolls before, or do you have any? Maybe you can do a video showing your original unwrapped roll of Mexican Libertads. Be pretty cool to see. So I'd like to extend a multitude of gratitude to you all for taking the time to watch, and encourage you to please rate, please share, please comment, and I'm not going to say please before I say subscribe. It's not going to happen.